Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving deep into a very crucial and often debated part of the Indian Constitution, Part XVIII, which deals with the emergency provisions. For all you UPSC aspirants, this is a topic you simply can't afford to skip. It's a goldmine for both prelims and mains questions touching upon federalism, fundamental rights, and executive powers. So, grab your notebooks and let's get started. First things first, what exactly are emergency provisions? Think of them as a constitutional safety valve. The framers of our Constitution knew that the country might face extraordinary situations that threaten its security, stability, and integrity. These situations could be war, external aggression, armed rebellion, or even a breakdown of the constitutional machinery in a state or a severe financial crisis. During such times, the normal functioning of the government might not be enough. Part XVIII, spanning from Article 352 to Article 360, gives the President of India certain special powers to deal with these crises effectively. The idea is to protect the sovereignty, unity, integrity, and security of the country, the democratic political system, and the Constitution itself. So, how many types of emergencies are we talking about? The Constitution provides for 3 types. First, we have the national emergency under Article 352. Second, there's the state emergency, more commonly known as President's Rule, under Article 356. And third, we have the financial emergency under Article 360. We'll break down each one, starting with the big one, the national emergency. A national emergency can be declared by the President when he is satisfied that a grave emergency exists, threatening the security of India or any part of it. The grounds for this are war, external aggression, or armed rebellion. It's important to note the term armed rebellion here. Originally, the Constitution used the term internal disturbance. However, this was a very broad and vague term, which was seen as being misused during the 1975 emergency. So, the 44th Amendment Act of 1978 replaced internal disturbance with armed rebellion. This makes it much more specific and harder to misuse. Now, the President doesn't just wake up one day and decide to declare an emergency. The 44th Amendment also made it mandatory for the President to receive a written recommendation from the Union Cabinet. This means the Prime Minister and the Cabinet of Ministers must collectively agree and communicate this in writing. This is a crucial check on arbitrary executive action. Once a proclamation of national emergency is issued, it must be approved by both houses of Parliament, the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, within 1 month. This approval requires a special majority, which means a majority of the total membership of the House, and a majority of not less than 2/3 of the members present and voting. If approved, the emergency can continue for 6 months, and it can be extended indefinitely with parliamentary approval every 6 months. So, what happens when a national emergency is in effect? This is where things get really interesting. The entire federal structure of the country can transform into a unitary one. The center becomes all-powerful and can give executive directions to any state on any matter. Parliament gets the power to make laws on subjects that are normally in the state list. Essentially, the legislative power of the state legislature is not suspended, but it becomes subject to the overriding power of the Parliament. And what about our fundamental rights? This is a huge point of contention. Under Article 358, when an emergency is declared on the grounds of war or external aggression, the 6 fundamental rights under Article 19 are automatically suspended. These include the freedom of speech and expression, assembly, association, movement, residence, and profession. But if the emergency is declared on the grounds of armed rebellion, Article 19 is not automatically suspended. Then there is Article 359. This article authorizes the President to suspend the right to move any court for the enforcement of fundamental rights, except for Articles 20 and 21. Article 20 deals with protection and respect of conviction for offenses, and Article 21 guarantees the right to life and personal liberty. This is another vital safeguard introduced by the 44th Amendment. It means that even during the gravest of emergencies, your right to life and personal liberty cannot be taken away. This is a cornerstone of our constitutional democracy. So, to recap the national emergency, it's declared on grounds of war. External aggression, or armed rebellion, requires written cabinet approval and needs parliamentary ratification with a special majority within a month. It has drastic effects on center-state relations and can impact fundamental rights, but with important safeguards for Articles 20 and 21. Now, let us move on to the second type, the state emergency or President-S rule, under Article 356. This is probably the most frequently used and most controversial of the three. Article 356 empowers the President to issue a proclamation if he is satisfied that a situation has arisen where the government of a state cannot be carried on in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution. This satisfaction can be based on a report from the governor of the state, or even otherwise. The phrase "or otherwise" is significant because it means the President can act even without the Governor's report. Once President's rule is proclaimed, it also needs to be approved by both houses of Parliament within 2 months, but this time with a simple majority. Initially, it lasts for 6 months and can be extended for a maximum period of 3 years with parliamentary approval every 6 months. What happens under President's rule? The President dismisses the State Council of Ministers, and the state governor carries on the state administration on behalf of the President. The state legislature is either suspended or dissolved. This is a key difference. The Assembly might not be dissolved immediately. The Parliament then assumes the power to legislate for the state. In essence, the executive and legislative powers of the state are taken over by the center. The frequent use of Article 356 has often been criticized as a threat to federalism. It has been alleged that it has been used for political purposes to topple state governments run by opposition parties. The Sarkaria Commission and the Punchy Commission on Center-State Relations have made several recommendations to prevent its misuse, suggesting it should be used only as a last resort in rare and exceptional cases. The Supreme Court's landmark judgment in the XVIII case in 1994 also laid down strict guidelines, making the proclamation of President's rule subject to judicial review. The court held that the floor of the Assembly is the only place to test the majority of the government, not the subjective opinion of the governor. This judgment has been instrumental in curbing the misuse of Article 356. Finally, let's talk about the third type, the financial emergency under Article 360. Thankfully, this has never been imposed in India to date. The President can proclaim a financial emergency if he is satisfied that a situation has arisen where the financial stability or credit of India or any part of it is threatened. Like the other emergencies, this proclamation must be approved by Parliament within 2 months by a simple majority. Once approved, it can continue indefinitely without the need for repeated parliamentary approval. During a financial emergency, the executive authority of the center extends to giving financial directions to any state. The President can direct the states to observe certain canons of financial propriety. This could include reducing the salaries and allowances of all or any class of persons serving in the state. The President can even direct the reduction of salaries and allowances of the judges of the Supreme Court and the High Courts. All money bills or other financial bills passed by the state legislature can be reserved for the consideration of the President. It's a drastic measure designed to restore financial stability during a severe economic crisis. So, let's quickly summarize the three types. National emergency. Under Article 350-4, threats to national security. President's rule under Article 356 for the failure of constitutional machinery in a state. And financial emergency under Article 364, threats to financial stability. It is clear that these provisions grant extensive powers to the executive and have a significant impact on the federal nature of our polity and the rights of citizens. The key takeaway for you as aspirants is to understand not just the provisions themselves, but the context, the checks and balances, the amendments, and the landmark Supreme Court judgments associated with them. Why was the 44th Amendment so crucial? What was the significance of the XVIII case? These are the areas where UPSC loves to ask analytical questions. The debate around emergency provisions is a classic example of the tension between the need for national security and the protection of individual liberty. While they are a necessary evil, designed to be a shield for the nation, there is always the risk of them being used as a sword against democracy itself. That's why the role of an active parliament A vigilant judiciary and an aware citizenry is so incredibly important to ensure these powers are not misused. That brings us to the end of our detailed discussion on Part 80I of the Indian Constitution. I hope this breakdown has clarified the concepts for you. Remember to link these provisions with other parts of your syllabus, like federalism, fundamental rights, the president, parliament, and judicial review. That's how you build a comprehensive understanding. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your fellow aspirants. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon so you don't miss out on our upcoming videos. If you have any questions or want us to cover another specific topic, drop a comment below. We love hearing from you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep studying hard.